So let's look at the next frontier, right? You got a market ready product. You've got $65 trillion in market value of homes out there. $65 trillion. You've got 120 million units out there that I think could use this property in residential units. 6 million commercial units out there. Okay. The products and services that have added to our GDP is around $5 trillion. Okay. I believe that we could capture 1 to 10% of that market, of that total addressable market of fees and services. So you're saying, hey, I can get you a product where you can close faster, cheaper, right? Transparent. Tokenization. All of these features, I believe that it's going to be a compelling case. If the market doesn't get flooded by the time we develop all these things, if the market isn't flooded with alternatives, which I think it's just going to take time for people to figure this out, to get the end-to-end system that will make it where you can put this out on the market. I mean, if you look at just do your own research. Look and see what people are offering. Go to Proppy. They're offering they do, they're doing auctions where they're closing it in seconds. Closing a house, selling in seconds. But then the person's stuck. There's no ecosystem, right? And so, because they're not driving and creating an ecosystem, where they're doing enough and testing enough. And you got to have the ecosystem. But you just look around, most people are creating technology, and they look inside of the current system. They see the potential, but a lot of times they're just not figuring out how to fully, bring it to where it's useful. And I think we have the ability to do that. So I think 1 to 10%, if you capture that $5 trillion, and I think with fractionalization, that's going to double. I'm trying to be grandiose, but I think if you can tokenize and you can fractionalize ownership, the hurdles to ownership are going to get down, are going down. Okay, and the incentive to fractionalize is going to be big, because if I fractionalize it, you're going to start seeing two different values. If you fractionalize, you're going to have a one token value where I'm selling it to you peer to peer right away. It's a certain value. I'm going to get to that. If I fractionalize those tokens, I'm selling it online, right? I'm selling it in the marketplace. There's going to be a different valuation for that, because it's going to be convenient for more people to get in. It's going to drive up the price. So you might have a house where the rental is worth $400,000. The on-chain value could be $550, $600. Because you're trading it above book value. There's like a book value, and then there's what gets traded. No one, very rarely does a stock sell at book value. So I think the same thing is going to happen. You're going to have more velocity of transactions going back and forth, And if we're the platform that be able as enable to enable those transactions, I mean, it's going to be something. But let's just say, you know, from the 36-month mark, add on another 10, 20 years, I think, 1 to 10% of the marketplace is reasonable, which could bring the potential of 50 to $500 billion revenue. I think the platform could do that, particularly if you have a marketplace where you start to add vendors and they start to innovate on top of the platform, where you're starting to attract people to get on. There's a demand to get on the platform because there's certain things that you can get from the marketplace that you can't get off chain. I think it could be something. So if you look at a PE, say 25, you're talking about valuation of 250 to 2.5 trillion. If you're an early person involved in this, and you're getting, you're in an equity position at the ground floor of this, to where, let's just say, we're talking about initially putting in, $150 million. Hey, if this thing could be worth 1% of that valuation, could be a decent return on your investment. I don't know. But I think that this is, the best opportunity that I've seen out there. I feel like it's something that I've been built to do over 30 years. I always thought that I couldn't understand why real estate wasn't traded like equities. You can trade petstocks.com, but you can't trade a house. I've always had that. Now I see where this could happen, and I'm just passionate about trying to make it work. And I just think it would make, so many people's lives better to not have, over 30 years, I've had to, sit there and go to closings, and, you buy and sell 1,000 homes. Part of your life is just there driving to a title company, sitting there and signing, 500 pages of document, initialing it, signing it, right? Waiting for the transactions to close. You start to think about legacy. Man, that's my legacy. My legacy is to be able to, I can't get, that part of my life back, of all those hours sitting at a closing table, signing documents. I would have much rather clicked the button on my phone and completed the transaction and had my money right away. Would have been much more preferred. But this is something a gift that we can give to, our children and grandchildren. The ability to not have to go through these hurdles, to just get a place to stay, to be able to invest and not be the, right now, if you wanted to get in on an investment, you got to be an accredited investor to get on something like this. Tokenization would be able to help, be able to get people in on the ground level of opportunities like this. So let's talk about the next step. Next step is We're looking for an initial $500,000 in a convertible note. We'll do a 12% rate, duration of 12 months, with a 25% discount. So that is what we're offering, and hope that you join our journey.